Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be working on sanding down the parts. What you're going to notice is when I do this today, I'm actually going to try to get all of the original color off so that just the plastic is left. Reason for that is I need more room for my paint and less of the original. If you go too heavy or too thick on the paint, the pieces won't go back together properly. So I'd like to get all of the original color off just to make sure that I have a little bit of wiggle room with the paint, even though I am going to be doing very thin layers. Just better safe than sorry, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring you over here, show you a couple pieces during the process, and we'll go from there. And then we're gonna get into painting. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the head plastic first. This is what I started with the first time, and I don't know, it was just a good place to start, I guess. So here we go. All right, so this is pretty much what we're going for here. And I'm going to cut and kind of periodically check in with you guys as I'm going along. But this is kind of what the product should look like after we sand it. All right, so taking a little break, or I took a little break, had something to eat, but I've got a few pieces done right now, and this is kind of what they're starting to look like. It really doesn't want to focus, but there we go. So these are gonna get cleaned as well. But I mean, even like the leg parts, I've done, got the outside done on them. And the headpiece also is done. And last but not least, the head sensor. So what I'm gonna do is continue on with the last 10 pieces, and then I'm going to check back in. All right, so we've got this last piece here, and I'm just gonna kind of finish this one up on camera so you guys can kind of see, but I'll speed it up right now. All right, so we've got everything sanded down now. The next step is going to be putting some warm water into a tub, and I'm gonna use some Dawn dish soap just to get grease off if there's any grease on the parts. And I'm just gonna let them soak in that for a little bit and just kind of wipe them down so that they're clean with a microfiber after they're done soaking for a moment. All right, so these are the parts after they were soaked. So what I'm gonna do now is just go over them with a fiber cloth and dry them off, get the suds off of them, and then they're gonna be ready for a coat of primer. All right, so all of the pieces are wiped off with a fiber cloth. I'm gonna let them air dry for a little while and make sure they're completely dry before I go outside and give them their first layer of primer. Hey guys, welcome back. So at this point, we are ready for our first coat. Now this is a paint and primer. I could not find just a black matte primer. No matter how hard I looked, they just weren't there. And that was at Lowe's, and they usually have a pretty big selection. So I changed into clothes that I don't care about, jeans that already have paint on them, and a shirt that I don't care if it gets ruined or painted on. The other thing I'm gonna do is wear gloves. We are gonna just take we're gonna take a couple pieces out at a time and just spray them a little at a time, let them dry, and then take the next set out. So let's head out. Alright guys, so this is the first 8 pieces primed. I did a very light layer on them. So we're just gonna let these dry for a little bit, and then we are going to take them in and do the next few pieces. Alright, we've got all the parts back inside after spraying them with the primer. So we're gonna let these sit overnight, and then tomorrow, once it gets warm enough, we'll do the color shift paint. All right guys, so that was everything today for doing the spray paint and the sanding. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and hopefully you learned a little something. And stay tuned for part number 3.